Talk and Rock Radio, where friends meet at the intersection of life, inspiration, and music. Here's your host, Rick Kern.
Welcome, everyone, to Talk and Rock Radio. Our show today is being brought to you by the vocal show band called Tapestry. It was 44 years ago when we last performed together. Welcome Dan Evans from Monument, Colorado, Danny Miller from Oceanside, California, and Jerry Johnson from Prescott, Arizona. I'm Rick Kern, your host in El Paso, Texas. Hi, guys. How's it going?
All right. Good to see you.
Just fine, man. Cool out here.
Good to be seen.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and I've been wanting to do this show for a long time. We haven't been together in a long time. Like I said, 44 years. But then who's counting, right?
Well, I'm counting. I'll tell you what. I've been looking to put together various get-togethers with previous bands and such. Danny Evans and I just had dinner at a very nice place about a month ago, and that was great, Danny. And give my love to Kate.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And this brings up the opportunity to say, why don't the four of us get together somewhere?
Well, sometime? I think this guy right here, over here. Let me see. Where's the camera at?
He's pointing at his weenie.
Actually, I'm pointing at Danny, Country Danny over here, because maybe he can get us a gig at Harrah's, you know.
Or in the big showroom,
or comp rooms.
Yeah,
at least
in the men's bathroom, maybe whatever.
I've been known to sleep in one before.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, Dan, I don't know if you know this, but my first Nevada gig in 1968 was Harrah's.
Oh, heck yeah.
Harrah's Reno. And
right.
And you remember when we opened for Ricky Skaggs at the Fandango?
No.
Ricky Skaggs?
Ricky
Really?
Skaggs. Oh, yes. And, and his banjo player played banjo and fiddle. He was, we were backstage talking, and he was saying, I like your band. Don't like the rock, but I like the country. You know, and I said, well, we play what the people want out here. And he says, well, we get by just playing country. And we got to sharing old war stories like musicians will do. And it turned out that when I played that first gig back in 68 at Harrah's, we were opposite Fats Domino, and we were opposite the Judy Lynn show.
Oh,
and and the Judy Lynn show, she was a beauty contestant or something.
Right, yeah.
And she had a 9-piece band, everybody with custom nudie suits.
Oh, geez.
This and big hats. I mean, I know those hats went into the hat cases after every show. And she had it was a great band, man. They sounded wonderful. And they were doing all the popular country of the 60s. And so, 20 years later, we're opening for Ricky Skaggs, and I'm talking to this guy, Bobby Hicks. And I was telling him, my first gig in Nevada was yada, yada, yada. And he says, Judy Lynn, he says, I was on that band.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And
That's cool.
And I got a picture of an old time picture contemporaneously. There he is.
I'll be darned. Well, I got a similar story, and you guys will know who the guy is I'm talking about. But when Dan Evans and I and Curt started the very first Tapestry band, and we got the very first gig that we played in Nevada was at at Sahara in Lake Tahoe, right across the street from Harrah's. And by the way, Dan, I talked to Don Clow today. He called us, and we talked about once or twice a week. You know, when he's out
Oh, yeah.
driving his 18-wheeler. He still lives in Vegas. But anyway, I don't know, Danny, if you remember, on the billboard with us was the Sandy Knox show. On the
of course.
Yeah, remember it said Sandy Knox, and then we were above her. We were Tapestry, and then above that was Elvis or whatever. Well, anyway,
Oh, you played second to Elvis.
I know, man. Hey, somebody's got to do it, you know. But
The Juniper Lounge.
yeah, well,
the Juniper Lounge. I know it well.
It was the Pine Cone the first night. Remember?
Okay, yeah, when we first started, yeah.
Yeah, the first night was at the Pine Cone, the small lounge, and then they moved us over to the big lounge. But anyway, this is where I'm going with this story. So many years later, I'm back in El Paso off the road, and I'm talking one day to Billy Webb. Now, two of you guys know who Billy Webb is.
Fifth Dimension?
No, Billy Webb played in Fuller Drive after Bobby Fuller died. Bill Webb and Larry Thompson.
Oh, that was the Bobby Fuller 4 subsequent band?
Well, they were called the Fanatics before they became the Bobby Fuller 4, and they played only in the El Paso area with that name. And then when Bobby went out to California, that was with Jim Reese and Bobby and Randall and Dalton Powell. And that group ended up becoming the Bobby Fuller 4. Of course, a lot of people like to say, well, I played with the Bobby Fuller 4 in El Paso. They were never called the Bobby Fuller 4, really. They were called the Fanatics or Bobby Fuller or just Bobby Fuller. But anyway, long story short, I'm talking to Billy Webb one day, and I think Billy has played with you, Danny Miller, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he was playing guitar in the Sandy Knox show, Dan.
Oh,
Evans.
no kidding.
He was playing guitar in the Sandy Knox show when you and I were on stage playing with Tapestry.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't believe it. You know, just small world.
Yeah, ages ago, my gosh. Seems like it.
Well, you know, and we didn't really have a chance to really get to know the bands that much, except for, well, the Jackson 5, we got to know those guys, but we didn't get to really...
Wait, what?
The Jackson 5?
You got to know the Jackson 5.
We got to know the Jackson 5. We went and partied with them. We had a great time, you know. Wow. Sharon and I have got some great stories, and some of which I can't talk on the show about, but another time, guys, we'll cover it. But yeah, we've got some cool pictures and stuff. But anyway, where was I going with this?
Jackson 5 and working with groups.
Yeah, and I don't know where I was going, man. You know, it's one of those senior moments. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say about it, but
it doesn't help with me interrupting.
It was real important, but I don't know, something about. I know what it was. We didn't really have much chance to meet and mingle with the other lounge acts and stuff because, as you recall, Dan, as soon as we got off the stage, we'd go back to the dressing room and get out your guitar and start rehearsing for new material. Because when we got hired for that gig, I think we had a show and a half, and we were doing 3 shows a night.
You needed more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when we left Orange County, we were only 2 weeks rehearsed before we got that Sahara gig, and that's when Doris or Howard came and saw us and said, "You guys are ready to be booked." And we went, "Well, we know we're sounding pretty good, but we don't have all that much material." And when I called Sharon that day and I said, "Huh?"
I used to have to take a bus to rehearsal. I didn't even have a car.
Yeah.
I was eating spaghetti without tomato sauce.
Well, it was a long drive for us too, because we were living, I think at that time, I don't think we were living in Newport Beach anymore. I think we were now probably over in Stanton living with Sharon's aunt and uncle.
Oh,
and
you might have just gotten married. Happy anniversary, by the way. 50
oh, thank
years
you. Thank you. So anyway, I think, that drive from there to Westminster was a pretty good haul every day when we were rehearsing, man.
You rehearsed in Westminster?
Yeah, that's where Curt lived.
Really?
Yeah.
At his house. Yeah.
At his house, in his living room.
Off of this show, I want to find out where he lived because I moved to Arizona from Westminster.
I'll be darned. Yeah.
I did.
Probably next door neighbors.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Of course, now that I'm in Arizona, anybody from Fountain Valley or Orange or Seal Beach, we're all neighbors.
Exactly.
Oh, no kidding. It's amazing how many people from California are hanging around Prescott.
No kidding. Well, and there's a good reason, Dan.
They're
Of course,
coming
I
to
wouldn't.
Colorado too, boys.
Oh,
Dan,
heck yeah.
Country Dan, I would not leave your job to come over here.
No, me neither. Plus, I like living at the beach. That's
Well,
Yeah.
that's right. You're in Oceanside.
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
How righteous.
Yeah, he's only 30
Yeah.
minutes away from his gig, man. He rides his bike every day.
I live in a cow pasture.
Well, payback's a bitch.
I love it.
Good one. Good one.
I mean,
I just
You
feel.
shit for so many years.
Oh,
Mountains are pretty good here in Colorado. I love the mountains. I'm right there. Right
Mountains
does
are
it-
beautiful.
Oh, no doubt.
how does it feel to be back to your old house, man?
Oh, it feels great to be back here at Monument. I've got 4 golf courses within 15 minutes of the house. Kate and I have a lovely home that we're retired in, and it's a great life right now. I couldn't be happier. It's a privilege to be alive.
And you're not working now,
Congratulations.
right? You're not working at the golf course anymore, or are you?
Oh yeah, I work at the golf course. I put in about 12 hours a week and play as much golf as I want there at the country club.
There you go.
There you go.
Dude, you got it knocked.
Well, you gotta
It's
change.
pretty good.
You gotta change your Facebook, man. It says retired, so you need to just say partially retired.
Oh no, I think I'll just leave it just the way it is.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, if anybody gets a message from me on Facebook Messenger,
Don't answer it.
don't answer it. It's a virus.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Yeah,
All right.
it happens. It happens.
Yeah. I have to notify about 3 or 4 people a day, it seems like, to make sure and let them know that they Facebook friended me again when we were already been friends for like 15 years, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
well, you know, what I want to do in this episode is I want to play some of our music too. And I've got a whole bunch of it already put in on my computer here. So I'm contemplating on which one I want to put. You know, I was talking to Jerry a little bit today about Danny's song. And are you good? Are you up with that, Dan? Do you remember you doing that song when we were playing?
Of course, I've done it for decades.
Okay.
I'll bet you have.
Well, since it's your song, I mean, you ought to be playing it for years, right? You know?
No
Oh
doubt.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, now that's one of the things that I have kind of pretty much retired from. I don't play out at all anymore.
Yeah.
I don't have any desire to do it. I was doing a one-man band where I had drums at my foot and vocals at my feet, and
Too much work.
the guitar. Too much work. It didn't matter about the money. I did it, and I'm done with it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I feel the same way. I listen, of course, I'm so acclimated to listening to everything musical and trying to say, okay, how would I do that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
And-
sure. Those genes never leave you.
Yeah. And so now I listen to something and I go, okay, I hear this. This second guitar is doing this. First guitar is doing this. Mandolin is doing this, and then I go, forget about it. Nobody's
Well,
paying you to do this.
Well, the reason I'm
Yeah.
still playing from time to time is because now I can afford some decent equipment.
Hey, there you
So
go.
God damn it, I'm going to use it.
Well,
Hey.
the last
go,
thing
man.
the last thing I saw from you, Danny, you had a very expensive looking Les Paul.
Oh yeah, I got a bunch of those.
A bunch of those.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
You know, I've been giving them away lately.
Let me tell you, let me tell you, there's a guy here in El Paso, and this guy, his Les Paul, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but it was an oldie but goodie. It might have been a 54. 50, no, 64.
Yeah, you're confusing that 54 with Rod.
No, that's what it was. That's what it was. Well, anyway, long story short, because I don't know the exact year, but he found the right guy somewhere across the water.
The
right guy, $250,000.
Oh, sure.
If it's the right guitar.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is that in the 50s, Les Paul, Gibson didn't make that many Les Pauls.
No.
Like there were only 1,250 some 59 Les Pauls, but 2,000 of them survived.
Yeah. Well,
See,
this one,
Rick, let me tell them about the one you and I know from when we first played.
Rods, yeah.
Okay, when I got to El Paso in 1969, yeah, and I started working out with Rick and his band, the Basic Sound, and the band leader did not have a decent electric bass. He played a Silvertone, but he did have his dad's Les Paul. And so we worked out a deal where when I wasn't playing bass, he would play bass on my bass. And when I was playing guitar, I would play guitar on his dad's Les Paul, which was, now get this, Danny Miller, this was a 1954, probably the first 6 months of production. Had P90s, the neck pickup did not have screw inserts. It had these kind of little L-shaped bar inserts in it. And you've seen it on a couple of reissues, but this guitar was early.
They're called staple pickups.
Yeah, the staple pick. Yeah, that's right. And
in fact, I just bought a Les Paul custom that has that. It's the 54 reissue.
Oh, okay. Well, then you know the guitar I'm talking about. Gail's dad's guitar was the original 54.
Yeah.
And I got to play that for 6 months until I could get my layaway payment on my 335 down enough, you know.
Right. Yeah.
That was it. That was your orange one, right? That orange one you had?
I had it was bright red.
Oh, bright red. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good looking guitar, man.
Well, it is. And it's funny. As soon as I got out of the Army, I wasn't home 2 weeks till some guy offered me a gold top Les Paul and I swapped it to him.
Oh, wow. Well, that guitar that Jerry's talking about it was black. And
yeah.
You want to finish telling the story, Jerry?
I did find Rod
Crosby.
Rod Crosby, an El Paso legend, bought that guitar from Gail. I will never forgive the son of a bitch for not selling it to me. But Rod Crosby had it on his website, and he had put a left-handed pickup guard on the other side. So this Les Paul, instead of having no pick guards, had two. Made it look very weird to me.
Well, we used to do all kinds of strange things to guitars.
We did, didn't we? We took really valuable guitars and sanded them.
Oh, and hacked them up, yeah.
Oh, gosh, I remember my tobacco stain Les Paul. I remember
so
that.
Do I.
Oh,
I
hell
love
yeah.
that guitar. It was a great guitar. I saw the picture that Rick sent. They posted that I think you had your black one, Danny, and I had my tobacco stain.
Yeah. I had a sunburst first.
He had a red sunburst.
Yeah, the cherry sunburst that I bought at Guitar Center when Dave worked there.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, he went to that black Strat, is what you're thinking of.
Strat.
Probably.
Black Strat was the one. Yeah. That took you forever, didn't it?
That was a great combination.
Speaking of Strats, Jerry, right over my
I see
right
it.
shoulder here.
Looks beautiful.
In your honor, I put that anodized pick guard on there. In remembrance of your bass, your precision, I think it was.
Yeah, there. One of Jim Shire's friends bought that bass and is still playing gigs with it.
Really?
Yeah. You remember that bass, Danny, right?
Hell
I
yeah.
mean, I was doing this gig.
Wow.
We had this friend named Mark Dryce, and
Mark.
And he was the best bass player I ever saw on the planet. And he got a lot of gigs because his girlfriend was some producer's secretary.
Yeah.
Lou Adler.
Lou Adler.
With A&M. And so anyway, he got this touring gig with Johnny Nash. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Okay, so the band says we got to rustify the sumbitch. So they took him to Jamaica, up into the hills, and gave him a splib, man. And then
hate it when that happens.
and so he got all these bookings. And so he says, oh my God, he says, I got all these other incidental bookings that are in my way. What am I going to do? And he calls me and he says, do you want all these bookings? I said, are you asking me if I want to go out on the road for Warner Brothers Records promotional tours? Of course I do.
Yeah.
And at the time I was playing a Univox precision bass that I liked fine.
Yeah.
I liked it fine. But the powers that were came up to me and said, we're going to have to let you go, son. I said, why? Am I not playing the parts? He says, no, you're playing the parts fine. It's your bass. We don't want to send you on tour with a Japanese bass. I said, well, I said, you mean you want me to go buy a Fender Precision? They said, yes. I said, it'll be here tomorrow.
Done deal. I ended up living with Mark Dryce for 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Did you ever
in
find
Hollywood,
out?
Right there on Melrose.
Did you ever find out where he was from?
Mars.
I reckon. But he was the best bass player.
Oh yeah.
That
He was
ever
a wonderful dude.
Danny, he played with us for a while. Was that Mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the pictures and I was astonished. I didn't remember that at all.
I mean, he just was. He was amazing to listen to. He just couldn't play country.
Was he better than Carol Kay?
Oh, different.
Well,
way different.
Totally different.
He was a bass player.
And he toured with funk bands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he played when that gold top Les Paul I talked about, I sold to him. And when I sold that to him, he was playing a silver jazz bass, fretless.
Oh yeah.
And
I don't doubt it.
And well, I mean,
yeah, he was.
This is the guy.
Bass player. Wow.
But on the other hand, there are plenty of competent bass players, some in this room. This virtual room.
Not me.
Well, count me out. I played one gig on the bass.
No,
I know Evans can play the bass. You could play some.
I loved playing bass. I still play bass. I've got an Ibanez over here.
Do you remember when
I have, and I've kept it.
in the first Tapestry band when we did the Smothers Brothers routine? Do you remember that? And you played bass? I think we just froze up, Dan.
I do.
Smothers Brothers.
Different basses. Well,
Your screen just froze up, Dan.
A Gibson.
Mom always liked you best.
Yeah.
Actually,
I remember playing. Go ahead.
No, I was.
We froze?
I just had. Yeah, your screen keeps freezing up for some reason. It must be your lousy internet or something.
That could be.
Yeah, I remember we did a Kingston Trio routine.
Really?
And Dan played bass on that. I played congas out front, and Curt. I don't know what Curt played. What did he play? I don't know. Maybe he played bass. Yeah.
I think he played bass.
Yeah.
He played bass, and he would play bass on some stuff. And I remember having a Gibson bass with nylon strings.
Nylon flat wounds.
Nylon flat wounds.
The absolute worst sounding strings ever made.
Absolutely. It was so
Roto
exciting.
sounds.
It was incredible.
Roto sounds saved the world.
Okay, guys. Well, I hate to break up this party about instruments, but a lot of the people who are going to be watching this show are going to go, "What in the hell are they talking about?" So let's get back on. Let's get back on Danny's song. Danny, are you up with playing your song?
Not to sing it, no.
No.
Oh, come on!
Oh man, come on! This is your moment to shine over in Singapore.
Ringo's still singing about underwater.
I probably could.
No, actually, that song, I hadn't heard it in a long time, and so I grabbed the CD the other day, and I went out to the van because I don't have any working CD players in my house anymore.
You still haven't got it.
I still haven't gotten it, Danny. I've still got to do it, man. But anyway, I went out there and I put on the CD that Jerry made for us all, and I played Danny's song yesterday for the first time in I don't know how many years, and I couldn't believe the harmony that we sang on that thing. Man, could we have pitched it any higher? My gosh.
In my opinion, we pitched all of those songs too high. Because the Bee Gees were the thing back then, and all the falsetto stuff happening. But
we had the voices for it, though. I mean,
but it was not the best use of the voices.
When I listen to that, in fact, when I asked Jerry, is there any way that you can take Danny's song and EQ it for me, because I didn't have I've got the way to EQ it here, but I didn't have the player to be able to play it to do it with. So because I wanted to take some of the high end off, man. I mean, we're screaming some high notes there, man. I mean, they were accurate, but boy, talk about, I felt like I was in a barbershop quartet trying to sing a high part and ring in the chord, Well,
but well, you get what you pay for. You remember Dr. Kevin Schrank of the Long Beach City College Music Department that actually minded the knobs for us.
Yes.
And remember what we paid him?
Probably a couple of Jack Daniels or something, or what?
I think.
Moving right along, what were you going to do, Dan, for us?
Keep a smile and tell me I'm the lucky one. We've just begun. Think I'm gonna have a son. He will be like she and me, as free as the sun. Conceived in love, the sun is gonna shine above.
People smile and tell me I'm the lucky one. We've just begun. I think I'm gonna have a son. He will be like she and me, as free as a dove, conceived in love. the sun is gonna shine above. And even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Everything will bring a chain of love. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything is gonna be alright. Seems as though a month ago I was beta high, never got high. Oh, I was a sorry guy. Now I see a face, a girl that shares my name, and I'm through with the game. This boy will never be the same. Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Everything will bring a chain of love. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything is gonna be alright. Love a girl who holds the world in a paper cup. Drink it up. Love her and she'll bring you love. And if you find that she helps your mind, better take her home. Yeah, well, don't you live alone. Try to earn what lovers own. And even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Everything will bring a chain of love. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything is gonna be alright. Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey. Everything will bring a chain of love. And in the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything is gonna be alright.
Oh. Hey, Dan, you still got a pretty good range, man.
I haven't sung a note. I literally haven't sung a note in a year.
You and I pretty much had mirror images too on range, you know.
Oh yeah. Well,
And,
yours was much
No,
higher.
Rick, you were higher.
Well, I could.
Falsetto was just incredible.
My
Your falsetto was
falsettos were
right
okay,
on.
but I'm thinking when we were doing things that are unison at times, like Time in a Bottle. Some of the other things that we used to do.
We should have done that song.
You couldn't have determined which one of our voices was singing it when we were both singing it together. It sounded that close. It really was nice. But
that's the way I felt about me and Country Dan.
yeah,
We couldn't tell the difference.
Okay. Where do we go from here?
Well, you were talking about the voices and stuff, and I listened to all that stuff. Thank God, Jerry. Thank you so much for saving all that material from Rubens and all that stuff that we were. Dude, we were good.
I know.
You want
to hear a short story about that?
Well, before you tell your short story, I had to correct something on the CD that Jerry did for us. It says, recorded at Rubens Steakhouse, San Dimas. That must have been in a different lifetime because we never played San Dimas. We played West Covina and we played Arcadia, but he did get Arcadia right. That on the second one here. We did play May 26, 1977, Arcadia. But no.
He was watching a Bill and Ted movie at the time.
I think I was. Oh, and it was gnarly, dude. But I'll tell you what it was. I had just gotten my studio put together, and I was working with this studio owner and operator who just had the best damn ears I ever heard. And he was feeding me all this used equipment and showing me how to use it. And I was having so much fun, and I was able to take those songs, and I think I had like 7 tapes. I had a whole, I don't know if you guys ever remember me hauling around Army footlockers.
Heck yeah.
I used to carry equipment in Army footlockers. One of those footlockers ended up foam lined, full of 7-inch, 10-inch, 2-inch tape reels. Some stuff that'll never be heard. And that's probably a good thing.
And that's the reason why your wife was a masseuse, because she would work on you every night after carrying all those footlockers back into your garage, right?
I think she was more interested in the other band members.
Okay, we won't go there. Different show. Oh.
No. She's a wonderful gal, and I'm seeing her over the 4th of July.
Nice.
Say hello.
Nancy and her new husband.
Oh, cool. Well, tell her.
Say hi.
Tell her I said hi. Yes, definitely.
I will. Oh, well, yeah. She's still a great gal. She just, guys. She just turned 79.
Yeah, that's...
Wow. It's getting up there, man.
And she's in way better health than I am. I'm telling you. I'm astonished. But no. Her grandma lived to 101.
Well, she drank a better quality of wine than you did.
Not possible.
Great answer.
Oh, I love that.
With somebody like Kemner around.
She drank the same quality of wine because Bill Steck used to. You guys remember Bill Steck?
Oh yeah, man.
One of the best jazz piano players on the planet ever.
And that stupid ass Volkswagen of his.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, you remember how big he was?
He was huge.
I know that I
into
a little Volkswagen.
I hauled him to Vegas countless times, and finally Midas said, "Mr. Johnson, this is your last pair of free shocks."
Where is he now, Jerry?
Huh? Where is he
now? Yeah.
It's cold down in the mine.
Oh, okay.
He's long gone. He played a party that Danny Miller and I went to when Nancy retired from teaching at Randy's wine store. You remember that, Danny?
Yeah.
and Bill Steck played, and he died within 2 years after that. He just,
Okay.
of course, you know, when you weigh 340 pounds, you're not going to make it to 80.
Yep.
That's true. Hey, Jerry, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Don't It Make You Want to Dance? Who did that song? I'm trying to remember who did it.
That was Jerry Jeff, wasn't it?
The guy that did that was, okay, when I was playing with Randy and Dave and Judy Bell in Texas, the Texas music, outlaw music phenomenon was just beginning. And we were playing, we played some cool gigs down in Dallas and Houston. And in both towns, we met some of the local guys. They would come in and say, hey, come and hear us on your night off. And there was this guy named Rusty Weir.
I remember him. Yeah.
You remember him?
Yeah.
And so
good player.
That's where that song came from. There was another guy, what the hell was his name? He had a song called Port Aransas. Oh gosh, I don't know. These guys, they never floated to the top like an onion cracker.
Well, I'm gonna play that "Don't It Make You Want to Dance" because I love the slide modulation that we did at the end.
That was the best part of it.
That was cool.
I've been gone for so long. It feels so good to be back home.
was really cool.
Yeah.
You remember it, Dan?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
heck yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
We probably couldn't do it today.
No. No. We'd sound like the Mills Brothers if we did it today.
This might not be in tune.
Well, I mean, what are you going to do when you're moving voices? It's going to be out of tune.
Yeah, but the only thing is when we were out of tune on that modulation, we were all out of tune together. We were all sliding up right at the same time. It was nice.
The thing is the final note. If you hit that in tune, you're good.
Yeah. And we nailed it. We did nail it.
Play it, man.
I'm going to play it right now. You hear it?
Great song.
Yeah. Also, Thinking of You, well, you're going to hear it when I get it edited tomorrow morning. Thinking of You, Loggins and Messina. That's one of my favorites that Danny Miller did.
Something inside of me is taking a hold each day. Something inside of me is making it hard to say. Whenever you're near me, you got me thinking of you. There's something about your smile that won't let me look away. Something about your eyes is making it hard to say. Whenever you're near me, you got me thinking of you. I know you got me singing a song. Whenever you're around me, I just want to belong to you. I would give all of my love. I wish that I could tell you all what I'm dreaming of. Something inside of me is taking a hold each day. Something inside of me is making it hard to say. Whenever you're near me, you got me thinking of you. Want to belong to you. I would give all of my love. I wish that I could tell you all what I'm dreaming of. Something inside of me is taking a hold these days. Something inside of me is making it hard to say. Whenever you're near me, you got me thinking of you. There's something about your eyes that won't let me look away. Something about your smile is making it hard to say. Whenever you're near me, you got me thinking of you. Whenever you're near me, you got me thinking of you. Whenever you're near me, you got me thinking of you.
That was great. The guitar work on that was really good.
Really?
Surprise, surprise.
You don't remember, Danny?
Well, I was just getting a full head of steam on my drinking career at that time.
But there was a lot of 3-note chords, 2 different inversions, playing counter, and it was really nice.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was talking to Rick about that the other day because I've always punched above my weight, getting with people that were so far ahead of me that it just pushed me to learn things. And then you throw in the Dick Grove thing, and
that was fun.
That
was fun.
I had so much stuff flying through my head, and when you're learning stuff, it's just exciting as hell. So you just let it go.
And
I've always been a seat of the pants kind of player anyway. Speaking
of that, Danny, not only were you learning, but you were teaching at the same time, because we talked about this. Robin Zander from Cheap Trick would come in night after night with his Cheap Trick t-shirt on. That's so we knew who he was. They weren't big yet, but he sat right in front of the stage, right in front of Danny Miller, and would just study what he was doing with his licks all night. And poor Danny, when we would get on a break, at the end, when we're all coming back up on stage, there's Dan still standing there talking to Xander, saying, well, Dan, show me how you did this, man, and all that. And poor Dan, you know, we're sorry about that, man.
Oh, I didn't mind a bit. I stole all those licks myself, so passing them on, no big deal.
Yeah, you gave me a few, Danny.
Well, probably.
I wish Danny, I wish you and I, Danny, had, I wish I had been more, or I should say, wish I'd been less lazy and learned more from you when I could.
Yeah.
Well, you were too busy checking out the opposite.
Never mind.
Never mind. Hey, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it very presentable, okay? And the rest of the time you were out.
No, you have to understand, Rick.
10,000 hours of doing something makes you an expert, and I'm an expert.
That's my point. That's my point.
With rock and roll, you can only keep it so clean. You know what I'm saying? There is.
So he was out playing golf the rest of the time. That's all I'm going to say. You know, hey.
And I'm an expert.
With a lot of
an expert.
Female caddies.
Actually, Cooper, he's a two-handicap.
Oh, really? Two-handed.
He's a great golfer.
Poor son of a bitch.
A two-hander, huh?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I'm carrying a 10 handicap now. I have 5 beers on the front and 5 beers on the back.
You know, when
That's
I was studying guitar, Horace Hatchett, my old teacher, he used to say, you know, Jerry, he says, I used to sit up there on the stage and these other guys would come in and they'd try and see what I was doing. So I'd turn sideways so they couldn't see what I was doing. And I have to say that in all the time I played guitar, I never had to turn sideways.
You know, there's still a time you can do that, man.
Yeah. You know what, Hatch, I took lessons from him and he finally told me to stop coming in.
Did he really? You mean you graduated?
No, he said, you ain't got it, boy. Go
hey,
away.
Dan, did you know that's where Carol Kay was going to at Whitaker Music there only about 10 years before that.
That's why I went to him, but he kept giving me all these little squiggly things on paper. And, you know, I kind of tried to do it and he just finally said, you know what? Just go off and do what you're doing.
You know, Danny, at that time I didn't know you. But if I had known you and we had worked together on those, we both might have ended up better players.
Oh, definitely.
Because
I still have all those notes.
You know, so do I.
And they still look like squigglies to me.
They are squigglies. And I can't tell you, I've had half a dozen students that I've used those lessons with, and they work.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, yeah. I've got a couple briefcases out in the garage from those days when we all were going to Dick Grove, and I've got some charts out there and stuff that I had to use on my paradiddles and crap that he had us playing.
That's right. You did the drum classes, didn't you?
Oh man, and I tell you, some of the most valuable time I ever had, just like you guys with Richie Lepore and to, you know, what's his name, Tedesco, and you know those guys. I mean, you don't take that kind of stuff for granted, man, when you can get a one-on-one with people like Louis Belson and Paul Humphreys and, you know, Ed Shaughnessy. I mean, these are the greats.
See, Dan, he doesn't remember the ones we went to. You remember the Jimmy Weibel seminars? And the
Oh yeah.
and
You know
how,
what the great one was? The rhythm section workshop.
oh, that was terrific.
Oh man.
That was great.
Yeah, gives you a whole different perspective. And Lee Rittenauer.
Lee Rittenauer,
Great
classes
stuff.
with Lee.
some unknown picker.
You know,
Yeah.
I've still got one of his best albums. It's called Foreplay.
Ah,
It's a great album, man. Great.
I remember years before that, when I was working at Whitaker Music, they had a bunch of instruments they were going to get rid of. And they said, if you want any of them, take it. And so I took this silver Selmer Mark VI French clarinet. It wasn't black. It wasn't black wood.
Yeah.
It was from the 20s, and it was a silver plate Mark VI Selmer clarinet. And I loved that thing. I was going to have that thing all rebuilt and everything. And there was this gal there named somebody Richie, and she was the percussion teacher. She taught snare drum 1A, basically. And but she was going to Long Beach State, and for her some class, she had to play another instrument. So she borrowed that instrument from me, and I never saw it again.
Oh,
Oh wow.
But that's not the point of the story. One night, she called me up and she says, "Hey, Jerry, we're having a jam session at my house. Grab your guitar and come over." And so I'm over there and I'm slogging through my junior league licks. And here comes the guy who's late and opens his guitar. And who is it? Larry Carlton.
Oh, wow.
I just put my
Wow.
guitar away. You know, what am I going to do?
Yep.
Well, I went to college with him, and
Oh, yeah?
I've sat in a room and picked his brain for.
Have you?
Oh man, yeah, we were good buddies. We were in the Harbor College jazz band together.
You played with him.
Yeah, yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
and you got some good ones out there in Colorado, Dan. You got Richie Furay just down the street from you, man.
Oh, yeah, there's so many great musicians out here. Matter of fact, Thursday I'm going up to Dillon to see my favorite band, Humphreys McGee.
Oh, you've been watching them for a long time.
Oh, for the last, close to 15 years.
Yeah.
Really?
Every show is different. I mean, it's the greatest band I've ever heard, other than the Beatles. Not only that, but it's the only band I've ever taken the time to learn the names of the members of the band, other than the Beatles.
Yeah.
I never learned anybody else's name. That's how important they are to me.
Buffalo Springfield is a group that I've kind of been connected to for a long time through, Richie Furay. We're Facebook friends, but
Are you?
Yeah, Richie Furay, actually Randy Fuller, right after Bobby died, he was part of the new Buffalo Springfield with Furay and those guys.
Yeah, which didn't work.
Which didn't work. No, but anyway, but he's still doing his thing. He still does a lot of Poco and Buffalo and everything. Yeah. He's a minister now. He got into the religion thing, and he's been doing that for quite a while now.
Yeah, you can make a career out of religion, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Can we take a 5-minute break?
What, do you got to go take a pee break?
Well, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Okay.
But basically, my wine is empty.
That's pretty serious,
Let's all go to the parlor. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat.
Okay, go get your wine, man.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, so I guess it's you and me, Danny.
Oh yeah.
This show's going to the dogs real fast.
What did you expect?
I know. Oh yeah.
It's just wonderful to see their faces. I haven't been in contact with these guys in years and years and years.
I know, man.
So it's really cool.
That's why I've really been looking forward to it all day. I didn't even bother to lay out any kind of an outline or anything with this show because I knew
Yeah.
I knew it was going to go crazy, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. You know, this is fun.
No doubt.
It's fun. Oh God.
I don't remember what they sound like on the CD, but New Kid in Town is way cool. I like that song.
Okay.
What song?
I was asking between I Like Dreamin' or New Kid in Town.
What do you think, Dan?
New Kid in Town.
I thought that was pretty hot.
Yeah.
I like
I don't
Dreaming.
remember.
I like Dreaming is good too, but
Oh yeah.
it's such a chick song.
Well, he's a chick magnet.
What? Oh yeah, right. Hey, hey, Dan Evans. Which song do you like better? I Like Dreamin'. Man, my voice is going to crap. I Like Dreamin' or New Kid.
I think a New Kid. I think I like New Kid better than that.
Okay. All right. Then I guess
Why
it'll
that?
be well because I'm going to play a song from each one of us doing our thing at our gig that night.
You're going to intersperse or doing them all at the same time?
No, I'm going to intersperse throughout the
Cool.
discussion. That's why I've been trying to find the right moment to plug things in when we're not
When the bleeps come in.
when the bleeps come in. Yeah.
The Bleeps.
That's a good time to plug it in. You know,
you know, I played with those guys. The
bleeps. The bleeps. Yeah, yeah.
Something easy rolling from the Eagles. And Ricky's gonna sing it like this.
There's talk on the street, it sounds so familiar. Great expectations, everybody's watching you. People you meet, they all seem to know you. Even your old friends treat you like you're something new. Johnny come lately, the new kid in town. Everybody loves you, so don't let them down. You look in her eyes, the music begins to play. Hopeless romantics, here we go again. But after a while you're looking the other way. It's those restless hearts that never met. Johnny come lately, the new kid in town. Will she still love you when you're not around? There's so many things you should have told her, but about the new kid in town. Everybody's walking like the new kid in town. There's a new kid in town. I don't want to hear it. There's a new kid in town. I don't want to hear it. There's a new kid in town. I don't want to hear it. There's a new kid in town. I don't want to hear it. Happy trails to you.
He's holding yours and you're still around.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're pretty broad-minded, son.
What's going on, Dan? What are you doing? What are you doing, Dan?
He's
I'm being
bleeping.
quiet.
You're,
So you can
you're
play.
bleeping. Are you bleeping? Okay.
Yeah.
That reminded me of Jackie Vernon. He used to do a clicker thing. Remember Jackie
Oh,
doing
God,
that?
yeah.
Oh,
Guido the guide.
Guido the Guide, man. I still regret us not going with him when he invited us to go. I don't know if he was flying somewhere and he invited us to go with him. Remember in Spokane when we played behind him?
Yeah.
And remember when we got kicked out of the penthouse suite because he was a diabetic and he had to cook special for himself? So they
Wow.
moved us to the club owner's house. Remember that?
I do.
And he had Panteras and all these cars out front, and he had a bodyguard with him all the time and carried a gun behind his back, shirt.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I played with the Panteras too.
Jerry, this guy that we're talking about owned this club across the street from the Spokane World's Fair when we played there in 70, whatever it was. And anyway, this guy owned something like 124 clubs throughout the United States.
Oh,
Yes.
did he have a cousin named Guido?
Well, probably more like Dominic or something like that. Yeah. Which Danny and I played for several of those guys back east in the Midwest. Masiellos, Joseph Fazzanelli. Remember him? Remember the night Curt came back from the getting paid and we were in the dressing room getting changed, and Curt had gone to get our money and everything. And Curt was kind of anemic looking anyway. He was kind of very, very pale looking, but that night he was very pale when he came back to the dressing room, because when he had gone to the office of the club owner, both owners were in there, and they had our stacks of money our pay sitting on their desk, and sitting right there was a pistol. Okay.
Well, of course.
Okay. And about that time, Curt goes in and they said, now, Curt, by now that we're probably connected, right? And Curt goes, I guess so, or something like that. And about that time, one manager says to the other, or the owner says to the other owner, let's show them really what we're made of. And he turned the light out in the office. And it was probably the longest 10 seconds of Curt's life. If he'd have been a cat, he probably would have lost 9 of his 10 lives right then and there on the spot. But when they turned the light back on, they said, "Hey man, we're just kidding you," and all that. So Curt comes back to the dressing room and he says, "Guys, you're not going to believe what just happened." And he told us that whole story. And so anyway, that was the end of that.
But those guys, they got a sense of humor.
Oh yeah, they do. They do, especially when they're packing the crowd, and they're happy. But that club, the night that Dan and I and Curt opened that room, there had been about 20 feet of snow outside. That was the Buffalo blizzard of 77 or 76, whatever.
I remember that. That was tough.
It was tough. And anyway, that was one of our last gigs. And I remember that snow so much. And the opening night, I don't know if you remember this, Dan, but when the curtains opened and the spotlight came on us, one of the few rooms that we had actually a sound person and somebody controlling the curtain and sound light in the spotlight. And anyway, I think there were 2 couples sitting in the audience that night. And this place would seat about 400 or 500 people. It was a pretty nice sized club. And and we're going, oh my gosh.
That's the room you want, Rick.
No.
Fill that one, and you're made.
Well, on the weekend we did, believe it or not. It was a filled crowd. It was a very nice room when the people finally came out to play in the snow, but it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Wow.
The first time I played the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas, it was with Judy Bell, and it was with Bill Steck and Brent Brace. I don't know if you guys remember any of those guys. They were huge jazz guys, and I was lucky to play with them. Gave me a background. And so we went, this was like a month after I got back from Vietnam. And I'm home a week, and Bill Steck says, "You want to go play Vegas?" And I says, "What do you think?" So we're up there. We're playing the Golden Nugget, the old Golden Nugget, and we walk in and we're carrying guitars and amps and stuff. And this tall, good-looking guy comes up to shake our hands. He says, "Hi, I'm Steve Wynn."
Oh wow!
I manage the hotel. So anyway, he said, "Go ahead, talk to the stage manager." They had timed curtains.
Yeah.
And if you weren't ready, forget it. And if you weren't ready to close, forget it. And so we had to be up there 5 minutes early waiting for the curtain to open. And as soon as that thing jerked once, we went into the opening. And at the end, we were vamping and vamping and vamping. The curtains start moving, and then we go into the close. That's old time Vegas. You don't do that.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool though.
Danny, you don't do that at Harrah's, do you?
Oh, heck no.
Did we have any of those rooms, Danny?
I just use a whip.
It's a lot cheaper.
Oh, old school.
I used to know a girl made a lot of money doing that.
Yeah, I hire a few of those too.
In the Buffalo Bill show, right?
Yep.
Pop that cigarette right out of his mouth, every time.
I'm going to see them in a couple of days.
Nice.
Wow.
Heading up there to say hi.
Hey, Dan, do you remember in Lake Tahoe when we all came down with the flu? I think we had like 104-degree temperature that night. And
oh my God, how do you perform?
Yeah, that's what we want to remember. I don't know how.
I remember when I got my scuba license, and I got some sort of organism in my nasal cavity, and I only weighed about 135 pounds anyway, and I lost 20 pounds of that, and my
man,
on me, I had to sit on a stool I probably went through a month of that. Remember, Rick? I mean,
well,
I was just totally sick as a dog.
You had a little bit of a Bell's palsy thing, right? I think
that out in California.
Yeah.
I remember I got the steroids for that. It was Bell's palsy, yeah.
Right.
We were at the Ventura. We were playing the Ventura.
That's right.
Holiday Inn.
That was a good gig.
Hey, Jerry, stand up a minute. I want you to show Danny, Country Danny, your shirt. He wore that for you tonight, Danny.
Trying to pop it.
Oh, nice. That's nice.
Because Danny, you and I shared that. You had the hard end of it. I carried the Colonel's briefcase.
Yeah. Well,
but I flew on lots of those targeted helicopters.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, when they say one weekend a month and 2 weeks during the summer.
Is that what happened to you
seriously.
Too? Is that what happened to you?
No, to you.
Me, yeah, damn right. I was in the reserves, but they wanted me there every Monday night, and I was playing every Monday night.
Yeah, right.
For
$35.
I remember when I was in the Navy and I was stationed. I was stationed in Japan, shore duty. It was tough. Somebody had to do it. But So I was playing gigs and playing officers club, making money. I was making more money than my commanding officer was making. You know, every time I turn around, they would say, "Why don't you go up for more pay grade?" I said, "Well, I'm making more money than you. What do I care about going up in pay grade?
Doubt.
I don't need it."
I got to tell you guys, first time I met Jerry in 1969, he was the chaplain's assistant out here at Fort Bliss, and Jerry, he was in charge of doing some pretty cool services there at Center Chapel, which is the main chapel there on base, and it was pretty cool because one time he set up a gig for Jim Reese from the Bobby Fuller Four and Jerry and myself. And we entertained, I don't know how many guys were at the service that afternoon, but
we did a church service.
We did a church service, and we were doing stuff like Teach Your Children, and what else did we play, man?
Nice.
People Got to Be Free and Fire and Rain and anything that had a spiritual context.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Chaplain, how about if we put in some old time religion, do a little gospel stuff? He says, no, we're not going there.
Let's not get crazy.
No, that was a nice gig.
A little holy smoking doodah man never hurt nobody.
Oh, wouldn't that be fun?
Now that would have been cool.
But that was way before I knew that song.
Yeah.
But we did pretty well with that for several months. We didn't get a lot of people, but hey, a 4:00 Sunday afternoon rock and roll church service is not going to get a lot of people.
No, especially Sunday afternoon. A lot of those guys are still nursing their head, their sore headaches from the night before,
But it gave me all kinds of freedom because the chaplain says, I had a dependence choral group. I had a soldiers chorus, over hill, over dale, we will make, and I had guitar students. I had 25 guitar students, and some of them actually learned how to play some guitar.
Good.
And so the chaplain said, you're going to have to kind of write out what your schedule is because we don't. So I made a schedule where I could never, ever be bothered to do KP or tumbleweed detail. The general's wife did not like the tumbleweeds in the desert. So she had enlisted men out there digging up tumbleweeds and throwing them into trucks.
Now you can get good money for those, man. They make snowmen out of those.
I know they do. Rick, they gave me a charge account with every music store in town.
Really?
And I would buy sheet music, and materials and stuff.
And some picks and guitar strings.
And some picks and guitar strings. And the Leon Russell songbook.
Yeah, of course. Got to do that too.
Yeah.
That
was a great job.
I've just decided something. I'm going to make this a 2-hour show because there's no way I'm going to be able, with all this great storytelling and music that I want to put in here, that I'm going to be able to do it in one episode. So I'm going to do part 1 Tapestry, part 2 Tapestry, and but anyway.
Oh, now this gets serious. Part 1 Tapestry 2 and part 2 Tapestry 2.
No. We're both going to be. Don't confuse me, man. Drink one wine. I know what I'm going to do. You guys just stand by and tune in. All right.
All right.
Well, after all, we've got 44 years to catch up on. So
well, that's right. That's right. That's why I want to keep this party going for at least another 30 or so minutes. But and I'm going to play some more music. But I need input from you guys on which ones you want me to put in it. We're going to do Thinking of You for sure. We're going to do Danny's song. We're going to do New Kid. And then
you can do all those, man.
Well, I'm going to do. Yeah, I can probably plug all of them, man. I'm going to put in. I really like it. Also, How Sweet It Is that Dan did. That was that was pretty fun. I like that. And then I like.
Wow, it was pretty quick. It was when I hear that song, I said, "Man, we did that really fast."
Well, yeah, but we were young.
Yeah.
Young and excitable.
Yeah. And then there was if you haven't seen it, Dan Evans, you need to tune in and listen to the show that Country Dan and I did last week or week before. It's pretty cool because we started it out with "Enjoy Yourself" from the Jackson 5.
Songs I don't even remember doing.
I know.
Remember doing that song.
Listen, that is such a nothing song. That's hey,
exactly.
we need an opening song. Somebody write one quick.
Yeah.
Well, it did okay for the Jacksons, you know.
Well, it did okay for us too.
It was. I mean, the people liked it. They got out and danced to it, and it was.
I remember when we auditioned for Lou Alexander, who was the first agent that booked us at Rubens, because he was Judy Bell's agent.
Yeah.
That's how I got that. We went up and set up, and we started off with "Enjoy Yourself," and then we did a little country, we did a little Lou Rawls, we did a little, Danny's song, a little this and that. And this guy turned to Judy, she told me later, and said, "These guys can play everything, can't they?"
Yeah. In Country Dan and I were talking about that in our episode, is that when we would go to the rehearsals at your house, you all would get out the top 40, list, and we'd go through it and go, okay, which one of these can we do the most damage to,
That's right. Because some were not appropriate.
No.
Yeah.
But we were pretty much on top of it when you think about it. There were some of those, the song had only been out maybe a couple months, and we were right on top of it.
I know, but you know what? I wish we had done "Stuck Here in the Middle with You." That would have been
no doubt.
That would have been a great song. But Danny Miller brought a ton of good stuff that I never heard before, because he was a
Marshall Tucker stuff.
Marshall Tucker and Charlie Daniels fan.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
And we did all that. That stuff was a natural. I mean, well, I consider that stuff and the Eagles stuff and the George Strait stuff, that was right up our alley. And of course, then we had to have the occasional obligatory George Gershwin.
Moonlight Serenade, where are we going with this?
For Danny Evans.
Oh.
Because he had to have class stuff.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, hey, that's what made us so well-rounded, man,
That's right. That's right. And when he came up with that song by was it Natalie Cole?
Yeah.
I was so skeptical.
After the Lovin'.
No. I've got Love on My Mind.
Oh, I Got Love on My Mind. Yeah. Another love song.
That song was beautiful.
Who did After the Lovin', Dan?
Engelbert.
Humperdinck.
Oh, Humperdinck. Yes. Humperdinck. In fact, Dan Evans, see if you remember this memory. We're playing in Rubens, West Covina. And in walked Wani from the Dahan sisters. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm going to put her picture up here right now.
Really? I don't know about this.
And then with her, who was dating her at the time, was Mike Stone, who had taken Priscilla Presley away from Elvis. They were dating. They were an item. And not only were they an item, they got married soon after that period of time. And I've done an episode with Mike Stone. He lives over in the Philippines. In fact, that episode has got more views than anything I've ever done.
Really?
It's got like going on 2,000 now, I think, or something like that. But anyway, he was really interesting, a neat guy. But this is the crazy part. The day before, Wani had called Sharon, and we're living down in Newport Beach at the McKeever's house. And we get this call from Wani, and Wani was asking Sharon. She said, "We're off. Dahan sisters are off for about a week. And I'm out here in California seeing my boyfriend, and we want to come. I want to bring him to see the band. Where are they playing?" And Sharon says, "Well, they're playing at Rubens in West Covina." And she said, "Well, you want to come out?" She said, "Yeah, I can come out tonight." and she said, no, tonight we can't because we're having dinner with Engelbert Humperdinck.
Ah,
We're going, oh, okay, excuse us, you know. And so the next night they,
Bring him along.
yeah, bring him along. And so they ended up coming out to see us the next night. But they really they really enjoyed the band. And I stay in touch with Tarina, Danny, one of the sisters from Dahan. She's really a sweet girl. Yeah, they're really a
Well,
sweet.
you really, Rick, I gotta hand it to you, brother. You have really taken this. You've got such a great memory. You and Sharon, you documented all of this stuff with pictures and stories, and so congratulations all the way around for everything that you've done. And your mind is still sharp as a tack. I wish I just had half of that because I can't remember the other half at all.
No doubt.
All this stuff that we keep
He
talking
still
about.
remembers. Hey, he still remembers Ernie Menahuni and the Waikiki Twins.
That's right, I do. I'm not really proud of that, but
you know, Rick, I got to say, somehow I do too. Why do I remember them?
Because it was in Mesquite or someplace up there.
Mesquite, Nevada?
Yeah, or
they were good. They were a good show band.
Where the commercial hotel was. Didn't we
Elko,
Nevada.
Nevada, that's it.
Do you remember that drive we took from Elko to Amarillo?
Oh God, yes.
By morning?
I was in a Winnebago.
Was it by morning?
I was in a Winnebago.
Yeah.
No, it was not by morning. It was by 2.5 days late because it was a blizzard, and we had to get your buddy, the guy that you put us hooked up with, Howard King.
Uh-oh. Sorry about that.
Our last show at the Elko Commercial Hotel was 2:30 a.m. So we got off at 3:30. And we were packed and ready to go. It's 3:30 Monday morning. We're supposed to start in Amarillo at 8 o'clock Monday night.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
And we took off across Nevada in a blizzard, in a whiteout, and all you could see was the two red taillights of the semi 40 yards in front of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was tough, wasn't it? That was the hardest thing I ever did, I think.
Oh yeah, white knuckler.
It was a bitch, man. And so we drove across Nevada, across Utah, up through Colorado, over to Denver, turned south, went down to Raton, you know the routine, and then headed over to Amarillo.
Which is the armpit of the world.
Isn't it though?
They got armadillos there, man.
Yeah, well, good luck.
Well, they had armadillos.
You all ran over them all. Well, Danny.
Wait a second. Let me finish this story because this is a great one. Because so we got to the Red Lion Inn in Amarillo, and we pull in about 3 p.m. on Tuesday. We're supposed to start at 8 a.m. on Monday. And the guy's all flustered. He says, "Oh, get your shits out of it." You know, so we played that night, and it was dismal. There was nobody in the place. It was a dump.
Yeah.
And I got a message early in the morning. I need to talk to you. So I went down to the manager's place, and I said, "Hi. So what's up?" He says, "Last night I caught the bartender and the head waitress tapping the till, and I fired them both, and I closed the bar. So we're not going to need you." And I said, "Not going to need us?" He said, "No." He says, "No, you could just pack up and go to your next gig." I said, "Well, I have a union contract right here that says you do need us."
Yeah.
and we're going to stay here and be in our rooms until you're ready to open the bar and we go back and start playing again. And the guy goes, "Ruff, ruff, 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 ruff." He didn't know about union contracts. And so I called the president of Local 47 in Hollywood. And this guy, you think he cares about a 4-piece band in Amarillo?
Hell no.
The son of a bitch. I mean, he's booking orchestras into all the movie studios. He's booking symphonies, you know?
Yeah.
And he says, well, listen, you just do what the manager says and don't call me back. But I stonewalled it. I went to him. I said, we're here. Our union's behind us. And so we just started playing golf every day. And it was sand. There was no green grass. The entire course was a sand pit.
With a wind blowing.
With the wind. It was awful. So we're out there. And so this happened to be a year, I think this was 78, that the Dodgers were playing the Yankees in the World Series. And so I went to the manager. I said, look, Country Dan's been a bartender. We've all worked around bars. Why don't we open up the bar without music or anything?
That's right.
Oh
my God.
So you can get some business for the ball game, you know? And so he says, okay. So we're playing golf, and on the 14th hole, I said, I got to go. We got to open this bar in half an hour. And Country Dan says, I'll be there when I get there.
And he was the main bartender, right?
And so I've never been a bartender in my life. And so I get to this place and I open it up. I mean, I know what to do to open up the thing. And I thought, what's it going to be? Oh, give me a beer. Give me a Jack Daniels and a beer. You know? No. Couples start coming in. We'd like a planter's punch.
Slow fizz.
Slow gin fizz. We like a pink lady. And so I'm looking in.
You can't Google it.
No.
Yeah.
I'm looking in this Mr. Boston's red label drink dictionary.
Yeah.
And they're calling out things like egg white. You know? And I got so behind. I finally said, people, why don't you just order something simple? It's obvious I'm incompetent. And so Danny Miller comes in and he says, when it says egg white, just pour in a little more sweet and sour.
Or put a little whipped cream on top.
Hell yeah.
That was my one day in this life as a bartender.
Wow, I remember doing that.
I'll bet you do.
Oh my God.
Wow. I had no idea where I was.
You were on the golf course.
You were shoveling sand out of the way, man.
Yeah, playing sand shots.
Yeah.
No, I remember I had the Winnebago. I remember I had the Winnebago there.
Did you?
That's about all I remember. And I remember Kathy Wisland. And I remember sending her home from Amarillo.
Oh, really?
She had a medical issue, and she needed to be home. She needed to be home with her dad's insurance to be able to pay for some surgery. And I only saw her one time after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I love that girl. I love that girl.
You know what, Danny? I love that girl too. I mean, not in the same way, but I really did think she was a very sweet girl.
She was pretty special.
Not to mention gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Danny only dated the gorgeous ones, you know. No bow wows for him.
Oh,
which Danny you talking about?
I'm talking about Danny. Talking about Danny Evans. You know, he had good-looking girls around him. I was thinking about something you said a minute ago about white knuckling, Jerry, and I remember a white knuckle that Dan Evans and I had. We had just closed the Hilton in Jackson, Mississippi, and
Really?
we had to be. I think it was Erie, PA, the next Monday night opening when we were hitting all that snow.
That's 2,000 miles.
Yeah, and I had never driven on turnpikes before, but going up there, you got those big turnpikes, 6 lanes up, 6 lanes down, and they had 1 lane open going up and 1 lane coming down because of all the snow, and there were 18-wheelers jackknifing all over the place, man, and all we had on our van, I don't know about you on your van, Dan, but we had just good Michelin all-weather tires, and I tell you, between that and God's blessing to watch over us, we were able to get there all in one piece. But man, talk about one big bundle of nerves, you know?
Oh, I remember any number of Saturday night after getting off work at 2:00 in the morning, packing up and going and having to start the next day, maybe 1,200, 1,500 miles for the next gig.
Yeah.
You know, any number of times. I mean, it was pretty much that was just the way you had to do it. You had to do it because that's where the gig was.
Well, see, the show was going to the dogs, but now you've just been upstage, Dan. I love it.
Cat's got to get in the middle of it.
Upstaged by a kitty.
Jeez.
Well, it won't be the first time you've been upstaged by feline, right?
No doubt.
And hopefully not the last time.
And it won't be the last time he upstages somebody else.
Oh, man. Oh, and the crowd kept applauding. More.
Well, that was the beautiful part of our beginning at Rubens. We knocked those people on their butts.
We did.
I mean, they never heard a band like us. I congratulate all 3 of you gentlemen for your extreme, sincere, and fine performances, because I think that band was as good as anything.
Agreed. And it shows. It shows on the tapes.
It
shows
does.
on the tapes.
Even on that tape, which is not critical, you know?
Right.
You know, that tape only had one.
The energy level, the instrumentation, and the vocals. It was a complete package.
That tape that was recorded by your friend Jerry was only with one microphone hanging above us, I believe. And I mean, considering that, it wasn't bad.
There were 2 inputs.
Yeah.
We took the auxiliary output of the PA.
Oh, and plugged that in. Okay.
And that's one channel. And
one
then
live mic.
And then one live mic, which was a SM57 on a regular mic stand, as high as it'll go, in the middle of the room. And that was it. Now that's pretty basic.
Well, you know, and as basic as it was, when you listen to those recordings, there's just a few times where the guitar, when you all took your leads, that could have come up, but considering nobody was turning knobs, it sounded pretty damn good, you know?
Yeah.
Then there was a time in Ocean City, Maryland, where Dan decides on Sunday he's going to take his day off. Actually, Saturday night he takes off, and he goes up to New Jersey somewhere. And so Sharon and I, that night, on our day off, we had dinner in our club where we were playing, and she decides she's going to have lobster that night. So it's a full lobster with the claws and the whole bit, man. And so we kept it at the end of, after her eating it, we kept the remnants of it in a to-go box, and we took it back down to our room, and Dan and Sharon and I had adjoining rooms. And so we unlocked the door, and Dan wasn't there. He was still in New Jersey. And we took that lobster and took it over to his toilet and opened up the top and put the lobster with his claws and all aiming up out of the toilet. So when Dan came back on Monday, you know where I'm going with this. When Dan opened up the toilet lid, that thing smelled like, yeah. Anyway, he called us up and he said, well, I'm not going to say what he said, but let's just say in the next minute after that, I was over there fishing out a lobster out of his toilet, and I don't know what I did with it.
Before you should do such things, you should talk to some other people.
I know. Oh my gosh. And that was just one of many things.
But just, it was the nice thing about when we played, we didn't have to do one night stands.
No, it was nice.
It was nice having a gig where you could just set your stuff up and be there a week or 2 weeks. And
at the Ventura Holiday Inn.
Oh, that was awesome.
I'll take Marco Island. What do you think, Dan? Marco Island.
Marco was the top.
Yeah, but Miller and I didn't get there.
Pretty good.
You guys see that? You guys see that picture right there? The sunset.
Yeah.
My fingers pointing.
Sure.
Okay, that's Marco Island, and that's how it looked. It was at the end of a rainy afternoon, and I tell you what, the best seascape photos you could ever shoot in your lifetime, right there on the water where we were playing at the Marco Beach Hotel.
You see that picture right behind your head?
That one?
That one, yeah. That's Burbank.
That's Burbank, I know. Bunch of cowboys. And I'll put that photo up also. Yeah.
You know what? That was a good picture, even though we were entirely unprepared to be portrayed as a country western band.
Well, you know what else is Burbank also is a photo up there on the corner. That photo up there on the corner where we're all sitting up on the rail and we had our
same
cowboy
thing, yeah.
Same place. Yeah, that was a good photo session.
Well, we had a good photographer.
Yeah.
Remember him?
No.
Rick? His mother was my drama coach, and while we were going to what was that guy's name? Dick Grove.
Dick Grove.
While we were going to Dick Grove school, I was also going to Lou Dressler's Patio Playhouse for acting classes, presentation classes, because I had to be the one up there saying, hey, y'all, here's the thing. Saying lots of words and no substance.
Are you talking about when you were playing the part of Wild Bill?
No, I'm talking about before I put myself together with you guys.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was already studying. Hell, I'd been a master of ceremonies since I was 14, and it is, you know what it is? It's vaudeville shtick comedy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, okay. See, Danny knows, Take my wife, please. Still gets a laugh.
Oh,
but you held it together, Jerry, and that's you did that in every band you were ever in, and you said it best when you said you learned it all from Judy Bell.
Well, I didn't learn it all from Judy Bell, but Judy Bell certainly inspired me to pursue that. She did. Bless her sweet heart. Judy Bell changed my life, for damn sure.
Is she still around, Jer?
Yeah, she is. She's probably 84, 85 now.
Yeah.
She lives in Palm Springs. She's on state disability. One of her arms has shriveled, so she doesn't have use of it. And she tried about 10 years ago, she tried to put an act together to go back to Vegas. And she called me and I said, Judy, if you can pull it off, I'll do it. But she could not do it physically. And so I love that woman forever.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do? But
Hey, you're
at
still
any
up,
rate,
right?
it gave me a chance to learn how to bullshit people while you guys were getting your guitars tuned.
no doubt.
Yeah. Well, you had a knack for it, and you did a great job with it. You know, no doubt about that.
It was fun.
I love this band.
Yeah.
I really did. I think
did
out of
too.
every band that I've ever played with, and I've played with some really nice groups, but this group, even Tapestry One, I love that band. I loved where we played, because if it hadn't have been for Ted McKeever taking us on the road with the very first group I played with, I wouldn't have had the experience of playing with Tapestry One or Tapestry Two, and you know, it dawned on me a couple weeks ago. I was interviewing a group called the Ronstadt Review out of Pennsylvania, and I really love this group. And in talking with them, I had them all on stage at the place they were going to be playing in Brenham, Texas, the next night. And I had them kind of sitting in a semicircle where I could see their faces and talk to them individually as I'm interviewing the main singer and John Beelan, who played with Linda Ronstadt in the Swamp Water Band. And he was their guest artist with them that night. But in talking with them, I realized that I think it's what Danny Miller said a little while ago, is that I think what made it for me playing in this band is that I was playing with musicians that were all better than me. And I think, because that's the same answer that they gave when I asked them, what does playing with the Ronstadt Review, all these great session players, all these great players, what has it meant to you all to be a member of this band and playing in one of the best Linda Ronstadt tribute bands there ever was? And they all said that. They all said, I think it was not a challenge. It was so much fun, always fun to come and play, and it's always a learning process. You always learn more, and I think that's how it was with this group. We were regimented. We worked hard at our rehearsals. We had homework to do, and we did it. And we all knew what we needed to do, and we all took coaching from each other. Working with Jerry, one of the best experiences of my life, because he taught me more about meter than anything I've ever done in the past.
Really?
Oh yeah. No, you helped keep me in the pocket. There's no doubt about that. At times I felt like I was fighting you, but that might have been Jack Daniels that I was fighting. It might have been.
Or, hey, I could have been trying to find my string.
But
I was trying to
seriously.
find her string.
Yeah, it didn't take you long.
You were pretty practiced with that, but anyway. But no, it was a very valuable experience and time for me in that time that we had together. And I just wanted to say that to you, all you guys, that it really it was a nice group, and we did some great stuff. And
we did. Wait a second. Let me interrupt for a minute. We also did some stuff we should have rehearsed a little more.
Well, yeah, but we were in a hurry to get it out there, But
yeah, I know.
I'm sure it goes without saying, for anything that you do, you can always be better at it. But the thing was, there was enough there because of the things that we had done in our past, all of us individually.
Yeah, everybody had some personal background. Yeah.
Put it together, and things we did together. The Dick Grove workshop was a tremendous learning experience for all of us. And I think when that happened, it brought things to the forefront, and it helped us to be even better prepared, better regimented, and better rehearsed, learning how to do it better quickly.
And you just touched on something, Dan, that resonates with me. The Dick Grove experience was invaluable, but also the experience that you and I had, not so much in California, but when we were on the road, we had a chance to see some mighty good acts.
Okay,
and we
there's
worked
that
with
too.
some really good acts, like Command Performance. I remember when we got through doing our show at Sahara, we jump across the street to Harrah's and see these guys play. And we were nuts over this band. I mean, they were funny. They would make you cry. Their music was great.
Which band was it?
The Command Performance.
Ah.
And I still stay in touch with the front man to this day. I mean, he's a dear friend of mine. And he's 85 years old, driving an 18-wheeler, lives in Las Vegas, you know.
Jesus.
And hates it, but he makes good money, okay? But anyway, but the long story short of that is that when we saw that quality of that group and hear how good harmony can be, I mean, you know how good sibling harmony can be when you hear like the Osmond Brothers and how tight and good that is. Right. That's how these guys were. You know, they turn around and pick up a trombone and a trumpet and blow it like nobody's business, you know, on a medley, and they do a routine, and then they turn around and do stuff. But I think the most valuable takeaway point that I got from this band is that they taught us how to engage the audience better. And Sharon and I were talking about that yesterday, about how a show band can be and how many of them are not. And I think when you engage an audience, and this band, Tapestry too, was good at doing that. We engaged the audience. They liked what we did. We got lots of requests. People really liked coming to see us. We had a great following. And that's how I felt when I went to see Command Performance. I wanted to be like those guys. I wanted to be able to have the the comfort of feeling good on stage as a front man, or get better as a front man, which I never was a front man. But when you can get that confidence, that's what I'm getting at here, is the word confidence. And I think that's one of the things that just exuded from Command Performance, is these guys had control of the audience constantly from the moment you got in there. Don't you agree, Dan?
Oh,
Evans?
yeah.
This is not a trick question, man.
I'm sorry. Just kidding. Absolutely. Well, and I agree with you. Is that where there was enough chatter in Tapestry too. There was enough chatter to fill the gaps, whether it was an instrument change.
And it was all orchestrated.
Yes, there was, but there was enough professionalism and persona to be able to engage the audience. If there was a problem, okay, I've broken a string. I don't have a second guitar. I got to change this string.
So here's this other guy over here to tell you a joke about his uncle.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Uncle Joe, right?
Uncle anybody.
Let me tell you about poke salad.
Yeah, Uncle Joe.
Poke salad.
Poke salad Annie.
You know,
what a great story that was.
You know, Danny, you've heard me do that song enough years to know that story was different every damn time. and
you made it different every time. You made it fresh every time.
That was my Judy Bell routine.
Yeah, and like where you were from in Texas, I think you changed the place that you were born so many times. in Paris, Texas, or wherever it was that you talked about, you know.
Well, it was actually on this spaceship that was orbiting over Texas.
In Roswell, right? 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, crazy.
Well, let's talk about something before we get too deep into more. What about? It's so hard to get together. We tried doing something earlier this year, and it just didn't come to fruition.
Right.
Danny, Danny and Rick are the farthest apart. Between all of us, between the four of us anyway, hell, why not get an opportunity to spend a couple of days together and do a little picking and grinning or something, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Somewhere in between.
I got two wheels. I can just jump on that thing and tell me where and when.
And we'll bring you a guitar.
Hell yeah. It ain't like I'm guitar poor. I got way too many of these damn things.
Probably not. Probably not.
I got a few. My newest baby is my little Gretsch. I got myself a little Gretsch.
A little Gretsch?
Yeah, a little Gretsch. It's a beautiful.
What is it?
It's hang on, I'll show you. Oops. Hang on.
I have a Gretsch Traveling Wilburys.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Guitar.
Never heard of it.
Are you
it's
serious?
a little 3/4 size guitar.
Okay,
nice.
so
yeah.
Oh, look at that. That's like a small 6122, right?
57, no, 57, 55, 57, 55.
That's beautiful.
It is a gorgeous instrument. I've always wanted. This is as close as I could get to a country gentleman, right there.
Nice.
That's nice, man.
I just got it, and it's just she's a gem. And then back there on the wall, the Godin is the one that's got the synthesizer built in, the GR20.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
yeah. That's a beautiful instrument. Ebony fingerboard. Oh, she plays beautiful. And that's when I was doing the routine by myself, where I had bass on the E and the A string, Danny. E and the A string were bass, and
nice.
That way I could play. Yeah, I could play like a band. And then you throw a looper on there, throw a looper on that, and all of a sudden I'm playing lead over it. It was wonderful.
You go. That's cool.
I got my yayas out.
Hell yeah. Wow.
But gosh, they've just been tools. For the most part, they've just always been tools.
Yeah,
that's right.
I looked at them. That's why I could let them. That's why I could let them go. Of course, there was one guitar I wish I had never gotten rid of, and that's one of them is that tobacco stain Les Paul. The second one was the Telly, the George Harrison
Rosewood
Telly that he,
The Rosewood Telly.
The Rosewood Telly. I had that guitar, and I had to sell it for rent.
Oh man, I like that. I like that sunburst, man. That's pretty.
Here you go.
Yeah. Oh, that's a pretty one.
I put this together. This is the body is a Corona custom. The pickups are lace sensor. The neck is a Warmoth neck that actually follows the shape of a 59 Les Paul standard. And it's all pretty wood. I don't know if you could see that, but this is a guitar I put together a few years ago out of as a tribute to all those guys that got me started playing guitar in the 60s, when that was the only Stratocaster you could find, was the Sunburst with the red and the white pickups.
Yeah.
That was the standard surf guitar. And so I put that together.
Speaking of surf, Dick Dale.
Yeah.
What about Dick Dale?
Well, remember we played at his club.
I know. You remember I played with him one night when his bass player didn't show.
I had my Winnebago repossessed next door.
Oh God.
Were they the?
And he got his club repossessed.
Yeah.
Were they the Deltones when you played with him, Jerry?
I was a Deltone.
You were a Deltone. All right. I grew up. I think I was 11 years old playing drums to Dick Dale and the Deltones.
Mickey Gilly came into that club one night
when we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, he walked in and we were playing The Girls All Get Prettier.
You know, I
I
thanked him.
remember we opened up for him in Gillies.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I thanked him for Don't the Girls All Get Prettier. He says, don't thank me. He says, I wish I had another one like that.
No shit, huh?
That was a good song, man.
Yeah, that was a great song.
It was a great song for us too.
Yeah.
We closed off a lot of nights with that song.
Yep. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
It's a whole lot better than Good Night, Sweetheart.
No doubt.
Oh, wow.
Which is what we should be singing now. Let's see.
Yes, it's getting late. Dan, back to
Good night, sweetheart. Sorry.
back to your idea about getting together in person. I was thinking maybe down the road a little bit more and maybe do it in Albuquerque. Would that be close enough for you guys, or where are you thinking?
It's fine for me.
Because Sharon's got a brother that lives there, and we've been wanting to get up to see him in it's been a long while, and maybe we could time that to where I could be spending some time with you guys, some and then some with them while we're up there, because she doesn't drive, so and we're not going too many places right now because we've got issues that we've got to deal with here. Nothing real serious, but some medical issues that we're having to address, and we're doing that right now and getting tests and blood and all that garbage. But I'm thinking maybe down, in a few months we might revisit this and look at Albuquerque might be a good way for us. I don't know about you, Country Dan. What do you think? Is that too far for you?
No.
He's got two wheels, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not winter time,
No.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, no, and you need to pick the weather. Yeah.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
as far as I'm concerned, I mean, between Danny Evans and Rick, Albuquerque is real logical. When you factor in Danny Miller,
I know.
It really is a road down I-40. Gallup, maybe, Winslow. That you guys know El Paseo and Winslow?
Yep.
Oh, wonderful place.
Like Rick said, there's family. They've got family in Albuquerque. Kate has a cousin in Albuquerque.
Okay, that works.
There's good golf in Albuquerque. So
Well, and Sharon's brother could have almost gone pro. He's a tremendous golfer. You and he would really hit it off. His wife buys him, reservations to play, out in Carmel,
Pebble Beach.
I mean, yeah, they play. He's played all the courses all over the country. He's really, really a good, almost a scratch golfer. He's a good golfer. You and he would hit it off. Huh?
Is he PGA?
I don't think so. I don't think he ever did any of that. I don't think he ever did any of that.
Well, I played Conopoli.
I played Lanai.
Ah.
I played
in Maui. Yeah.
I played putt up on Montana Street one time. No, I did play in a tournament one time. It was 4-man scramble, and it was a windy day. It was Dos Lagos here in El Paso, Lions Club, and I tell you what, I was hitting them hard and low. If a car was driving by, it may have bounced off a roof a couple of times. but they played off of my balls numerous times because the wind was blowing and they were hooking them all over the place, and mine were going straight and low. So it was a good day for me,
That's fun.
But I think maybe Albuquerque in late September, early October. That might be doable.
Yeah.
Because that way, at least you can pretty much avoid the only issue that Danny might have is It always snows in Flagstaff, so you got to go through Flagstaff on 40.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Yeah, but
Always
I
snows
can
in
show you a
Flagstaff.
way around the snow. Don't worry about that.
Put some snow tires on your bike, Danny.
Yeah, really.
Oh,
So,
Well-
well, we could look at that. That's
Oh, heck
not
yeah.
that far away.
it's a possibility, and then maybe I can get you and Eric and these guys, if they want to golf too, go out, and I'll be
Oh, absolutely.
he knows some
That'd be
good
fun.
golf courses there. It'd be kind of fun, maybe.
Kate and I could bring our camper. We've got a camper, and I've got my van. Can pull the camper, so it sleeps too, and the camper sleeps too. So it's got a
Oh.
place to stay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but I got a girlfriend who likes sweets.
So you could stay at the hotel, right?
I'll stay at the hotel.
He'll stay over at the
got
Isleta Casino. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, and that might be kind of fun, and we could even hook up, maybe do some stuff at the casino. Maybe go catch a show or something. There's a couple of nice showrooms there that book big names and stuff. So, we can make a fun event out of it. We'll
And
figure.
now for something completely different.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, before we go, I just want to say to you three guys, I think that the thing that we did together is one of the highlights of my life. Thank you.
Oh, I agree.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank
What I
all of
remember
you.
of it.
Yeah, you were part of it, Jerry.
I
Thank you.
was part of it. Yep.
Thank you for being a part of my music life in 1969, because that's when it all started. Danny and I, when we got back out to LA, we needed a guitar player and a bass player, and you guys did it.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was.
It was a blast.
It was. All right, gentlemen.
Okay, guys,
For the night.
it's a wrap. Thank you for doing this with us tonight, and I love you guys, and sleep good.
Yep.
Good night, Rick.
Good night.
Y'all take
Good night,
care.
you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.